Okay, I am so scared. Can you guys hear me? Ding. And like, am I too loud? Do I sound good? This is my first time managing a stream. I have been on streams before, but I've never run one myself, so hopefully I'm doing this correctly. Okay, it sounds okay? It's not like too loud, too quiet, anything like that. Hello everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Um, Yay, I'm so glad it sounds good. Um, Hi. Gosh, now I'm lost on what to say. Well, I think I know all of you, but just in case on the very off chance there's someone here who doesn't know who I am, my name is Catherine. I am a longtime fan of the series. I think going on, gosh, 9 years now, and been in the fandom for 6.5 years. So been here a while. And I am a huge fan of Sophitz, and as you probably all know. And so I've been working on this presentation for a while. It's a very boring slideshow. It's just mostly just text, like, from the series that I'm gonna read and then talk about the scenes. But I'm excited. I'm so excited. Ooh, we have another slide. Let me go to it. Yeah, so this is the top 10 Sophitz moments of all time presentation, except not Stellarloon because I didn't want to update this after it came out. So that shows you how long I've been working on this. It's not fancy, I just haven't been working on it much. Long time wrote the wiki. I mean, I wrote like maybe a third of it if I had to guess. No, that's probably too much. I probably wrote less than that. But yes, I've been here a while. Thank you all so much for being here. Yes, I am a nerd. Hi, Duck. I'm Catherine. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. That is my full legal name on screen. Catherine Everliving Everblaze Mooncakes. In case you were wondering, you can now dox me and steal my identity. I'm so glad your second grade teacher would be proud of me. I appreciate that so much. Gosh, okay. Um, YouTube is telling me that my bitrate is too high and I don't know what that means because I'm a streaming beginner. So I'm just gonna ignore that. I guess we're about to get started here. Again, thank you for being here. I'm so excited. Yeah. Eee. Let's see, how do I, okay, I'm on my sister's setup, so I'm a little bit confused, but she very generously let me use her setup because she has like, two monitors and a PC, whereas I just have a laptop, so thank you. Yeah, my full name, it's a beautiful name, isn't it? My mother definitely came up with it. All right, so, what are my, I wrote some notes on what to say because I knew I would panic. So I rearranged these moments a lot, especially the top ones. I was just like every time I would think about a moment, I would be like, wow, I love this one more than all of the others, and I would move it up again. So the placements aren't necessarily like set in stone. What it kind of ended up being is they're just ranked by how feral does it make me go. So like on a scale from will make me pause for a moment and clutch my chest to will make me collapse on the ground and chew on my own arm if I think about it for too long. In case you were wondering what my mental state is like about Sophitz. Another disclaimer, these aren't all gonna be like the happy sweet moments. I have a real love for the story of Sophitz, and so the moments that make me go the most crazy often aren't like the sweetest ones. But yeah. Um, does anyone have any questions, I guess? Or should we get started? I keep wanting to just say thank you over and over again because I'm so glad there are people here. You're all so kind to have joined me today. I'm trying to keep up with chat too. Yes, Catherine family lore. I have 3 siblings, including a sister and older sister, who very kindly gave this to me. That is true. So Fitz occupies all of my brain. Question, I'm in love with you. Thank you. I'm also in love with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. This is a Sophitz class now. Absolutely, that is exactly what this is. You are going to learn about this ship and you are going to like it. This is also like a little bit like So if you follow me on Tumblr, you'll know that I've been doing a best Fitz duo poll, and sometime after stream, I'm gonna be putting up the poll, the finale for Fitz and Sophie versus Fitz and Keith. So this is like that's not why the stream is today, but it ended up working out really well as this is propaganda. If you watch this and then you go vote for Fitz and Keith, I am disappointed. No, that's not. It's fine. You can vote for whatever you want, but you know. Is there a test? You'll see. Maybe, maybe not. Gotta keep you on your toes, right? Okay, without further ado, number 10. Now I'm gonna read them. So this is from Never Seen, chapter 28. This is when they are going to rescue Prentice from exile, and she tries to lean on the wall because all the thoughts are overwhelming, but the wall is so cold, so she leans on Fitz instead. And she asks for a happy story that made Fitz feel confident to help her focus herself. And so this is what he says. He says, Counselor Tarek told me that I would grow up to become an even more powerful telepath than my dad. And that was the first time I ever thought I could be special. It made me feel unstoppable. And you're 1,000 times more talented than I am, Sophie. I know you can do this. So, there's not a lot I have to say about this one. It's number 10. It's really sweet. And it highlights something that I love about them. They're there for each other. They know what to say to make each other feel better, and it's cute. It's a cute moment, right? Fitz is very sweet, and it's cute. It's also, of course, it's interesting what it says about Fitz's character, because I think people always assume that not always, but some people assume that he was always the golden boy and he never had to struggle for anything. But I think it's a really important part of his character that he grew up being overshadowed by his father and by Alvar, and then he eclipsed Alvar, and that's like, I mean, I guess that's part of why Alvar went evil. I don't get it. I don't know what the Vacker legacy is. I don't know what Alvar's on about, but this also does definitely say something interesting about his character. He is down bad. I know, isn't he? Like, I think they say that he started liking Sophie around when they were doing the cognate training in Never Seen, right? That's about the right timing. So this is right after he developed a crush on her for the first time, which makes it, like, even cuter, in my opinion. Yeah, so that's number 10. It's not a big moment, but it's cute, ain't it? Yeah. I love him too. I love him. My boy literally put Sophie on a pedestal in Stellar Moon. She's a goddess to him. True. I mean, I don't know, and I think that's so cool. I think it's so cool that she basically changes his perspective in a lot of ways. Like, it starts off that he's like, ugh, humans are terrible, they're bad, and you're silly for being a human, right? He's like, what is it? He's like, Albert Einstein, never heard of him. And then he kind of, I wouldn't say he loves humans now, but I think knowing Sophie has changed his perspective in some way. I mean, she's the girl that, like, he is the one that kind of represents the elven view, right? Of elven superiority. And so, having her be the human girl, I don't know. I don't know. I'm way off of my notes here, so I don't know exactly what I'm saying, but it's cool. It's really cool that he falls in love with her from a story perspective. And oh yeah, hi Melly. I forgot. I have to make you a mod too. I promised that too. I'll do that. I promised that they too could be mods because we used to be Melly and I used to be mods on Tater's Twitch channel. Kinda racist. I mean, yeah, you could say that. Squint's cath down bad? We don't need to talk about that. That's off topic. We're not talking about that. Today we're talking about Sophitz, okay? Okay, next. I believe in anything and everything you say uncritically. I will use this power for good, I think. Number 9. Legacy Almost Kiss. They have a few almost kisses. This is one is the closest to an actual kiss, I think, in the series. But it's only at number 9 because it's in front of Keith, which is like so awkward. So painful. Like this could have been such a good moment, but they chose to almost kiss in front of Keith. Like the lack of awareness is painful. Um and it's a little bit of an uncomfortable scene in general because I think they were just fighting because Fitz was like, Sophie, you've been avoiding me ever since you found out about matchmaking and I miss you, which is sweet. But then they fight a little bit about that. But then they kiss, which is cute. Well, they don't kiss. They should have kissed. But like here, let me read it. From chapter 12 in Legacy. This beautiful, perfect guy she'd had a crush on from the moment she'd first stared into his impossibly teal eyes was really saying these things and looking at her like she meant something, even knowing what the matchmakers said. And his fingers were really tracing up her jaw. This is like the spiciest the series gets. Well, I so feel you, Quill, on having to skip this part. And like, I don't know why I made myself read this. It's so uncomfortable. Anyway, I'm gonna try to read it. Really tracing up her jaw, triggering a new explosion of tingly fireworks as his gaze shifted to her mouth and he leaned closer. Closer. So this is like, it's like a tiny bit spicy. It's sweet. It's loving. They tell each other they missed each other right before this. It's just cute. I think it's a cute scene. I like it. Except for the whole in front of Keith thing. Awkward. It's also like a little bit funny because Fitz is giving this scene is because Fitz is giving this serious speech about like how much he missed her and how he wishes she would have trusted him instead of avoiding him after she found out about matchmaking, and Sophie is like just thinking like, wow, he's hot. Like, calm down, Sophie. He's trying to have a serious conversation with you. Yeah. But I do like it. I'm glad that we had. I wish we had a real kiss, but you know, this is pretty close. I'll take it. Number 8. Red is definitely your color from Lodestar Chapter 67. So this is not my personal favorite moment, but you know, I just keep saying that it's cute, but all of them are cute. They're cute. It's true. But it's iconic. It's a classic. Um, and I think it's like one of the first moments in the series where a lot of people started to be like, is Sophitz going to happen? So let me read it. The context of this scene is that Sophie just manifested as an enhancer, and she has to wear gloves so that she doesn't accidentally enhance people. So Biana is dressing her up to disguise the gloves, and then Fitz talks. He talks. Sophie sighed as Biana raced off. She's going to turn me into her little doll. Probably, Fitz agreed. But at least she's right. Sophie figured he was referring to Biana's camouflage the gloves strategy, which was pretty brilliant, despite how annoying Sophie was sure it was going to be. But Fitz gave her his most charming smile and added, "Red is definitely your color." If she were a cartoon character, Sophie's eyes would have turned into little hearts. In My Heart They Kissed for Real, and Fitz and Lodestar was both so true. I 100% agree. So, of course, this is an iconic scene. I've seen a lot of art of it. And like, red is Sophie's color forever. Just this one scene, I think, is the only time in the series Sophie is associated with red, and yet everybody draws her in red now, and I think that that is absolutely correct and the right decision. But that's just part of why this scene is so iconic. I guess they're drawing Sophie in red for Fitz's sake, which, I mean, go off. Um, These two are sickeningly adorable. So true. And Sophie is also down bad for real. I mean, they're so in love, and it's almost painful. Oh, the Arenflare scene Red is mentioned. I don't remember that. What was that? I remember there's the rainbow fire, right? And Sophie gets like a migraine. That's all I remember from that scene. And then there was the deleted scene where she did some kind of ability. I forget. I don't remember Red. You can never give a character a color or else it will become them. It's true. You give a character a color or a food and it's forever. Hi, Dizzy Flowers. So excited to have you here. Thank you for joining us. So this is number 8. Also right around this scene is Fitz like wakes Sophie up by putting Mr. Snuggles in her face, and he's like, Mr. Snuggles is always the best thing to see when you first wake up. And then Sophie almost goes, teal eyes are better. So lots of like sickeningly sweet stuff around this scene. So cute. Well, I'm sure you'll love that as the Mr. Snuggles and Fitz stan, resident Mr. Snuggles stan. Sophie needed to borrow clothes because she'd torn hers, and the blouse Biana lends her is red, where Biana tells her it's her color. Oh, I forgot about that. That's cute. Woe, Mr. Snuggles be upon ye. So true. I mean, Snuggles supremacy. Yeah, all true, all true. Mr. Snuggles should be upon ye. I would like him to be upon me. I have enough stuffed animals, but I would still take a Mr. Snuggles. No more teal eyes, only I can't there's something blocking my thing, so I can't see what you said exactly, but I disagree. I think teal eyes and Mr. Snuggles. Page 179 Exile if you want to look. I will look. I will look probably later because I have a million things up right now that I'm trying to manage. So that's number 8. It's cute. Our first little bit of an angsty one. So this one is I wasn't sure you would ever tease me again from Legacy chapter 52. So this is I've cut a lot here because this is a long scene. So what I've included here is just the beginning and the end of it. And this is where they make up after breaking up and agree to be friends, which is a weird one to include on the list, but let me read it and then we'll talk about it. Oh, and yeah, and Keith is in a coma here and they're talking. It helps to keep busy, though, Fitz added quietly. That's why I'm here. I know you haven't wanted to leave Keith alone, but I'm guessing you're dying to go home and take a shower, change your clothes. You trying to tell me I smell bad? Sophie interrupted, smiling when Fitz's eyes widened. I'm kidding. I know that's not what you meant. I know, Fitz said, staring at his feet. I just wasn't sure if you'd ever tease me again. Sophie sucked in a breath. And then a little time skip. Thank you, Sophie told him. Fitz flashed one of his perfect smiles. Any time, Sophie. Any time. It's a heart-wrenching scene, I'm gonna tell you. But, like, in a good way, it just... it... It shows something about how they click to me. It shows something about their story, and that they're able to make up is so cool to me. It's just a really interesting scene in a lot of ways, but it's also just so sweet. He's like, he missed her so bad. I wasn't sure if you would ever tease me again. And that makes my heart break. I love them, Your Honor. And it's interesting in a lot of ways, because Fitz is like, basically in the scene, Fitz is kind of talking like he wants to get back together, but he's okay if Sophie doesn't, which she doesn't. Like, he's gotten over his anger and he apologizes and he's willing to be a bad match with her. Or at least he thinks he is, but you know, he basically tells her, like, I am willing to be a bad match with you. Like, we don't talk about that enough. He tells her he's willing to get back together, which is basically saying that. Like, he gets over his anger. That's so, um, yeah. I feel like the development there just doesn't get a lot of acknowledgement, and I think it's important. Um, but then Sophie is also like, she realizes that she just doesn't have time for a boyfriend, which we won't talk about Stellar Loon. I wrote this before Stellar Loon, and I'm not salty about Sophie telling him here, oh, I don't have time for a boyfriend. And then something happens in Stellar Loon that we're not going to talk about that I'm not salty about because Sophie is not being petty and mean in any way. Anyway, and so they don't get back together because Sophie basically tells him, yeah, I can't handle a boyfriend. And it develops both of them a lot. And I feel like it doesn't I mean, I'm really distracted by whatever's happening in chat right now. So we've got like this huge conversation going on about deodorant, which is fair considering the scene, but like it's very distracting. No, it's fine. It's just so distracting. We're talking about elven hygiene. We've got a whole conversation. I feel like I don't think Dex made Sophie or did Dex make it? I thought was that Keith who made her a Panics perfume? No, you're right. I think it was Dex. No, you're fine. You don't need to apologize. I just like glanced over at chat while I was talking and I was like, what is happening in there? Where was I? Yeah, I mean that's basically all I had to say. I think that I really genuinely like the scene a lot. Tater says what happens in Stellar Loon. You know. You know what happens in Stellar Loon that I'm salty about because of this scene. I'm like not specifically I'm fine with it. I'm not fine. Here's the thing. I'm fine with them getting together. I'm mad about the fact that Fitz gets like she tells Fitz like I'm not ready for a boyfriend and then she goes and gets a boyfriend that's not him and then like kisses this guy and then tells Fitz she's like, "Oh, by the way, I got a boyfriend." And oh, you didn't read Stellar Loon? Oh, okay. I assumed you knew and you were just trying to get me to say it. Anyway, I we don't need to get on that train. This is supposed to be about Sophitz and how much I love them. So I love them. I like this scene. I like this scene a lot. It's very mature, it's very sweet. It's a little heartbreaking. I like it. Um Next. Six. So that should be plural, shared telepathy classes. This is a collection of scenes. What chapters 21. I only put one chapter here, which is the one that I took this specific quote from, but this kind of spans a lot of different scenes. This one's actually two slides I have because I have kind of a long quote here. But so Fitz gets put in Sophie's telepathy class so that they can, I guess, because they have a special connection or whatever. I still don't know whose decision that was, but it was a good decision. I love it. So that's the context. Let's read. There's more context here. This is from discussing Finton's healing and who should be Sophie's guide for it, to pull her back if things go wrong or whatever. Hirgen smiled. I know Fitz isn't as experienced as I am, and I know he's your friend and you want to protect him. But you and Fitz have a very strong, very special connection. I've seen you transmit to him anywhere, and with more ease than when we've tried with other prodigies. And let's not forget that you were able to reach him halfway across the world, while your mind was drugged and dazed, no less. I'm pretty sure panic and desperation helped with that, Sophie argued. I have no doubt it did, but it also says quite a lot that you chose to reach out to him. You trusted him with your life, and that's the kind of bond you should have with your guide. Fitz leaned closer, making her suck in a breath with the intensity to his stare. Please let me help you, Sophie. He looked so much like his father in that moment, and Sophie couldn't help remembering Alden collapsed on the floor, his face streaked with red. Last time was so awful, she whispered. I know, but I'm not carrying around a huge load of guilt like my dad was. I promise I can handle this. If I ever let you down, he had actually. Sorry, I just love when the narrator like contradicts what somebody says. a few weeks back when he'd blamed her for what happened to Alden. But he was also the boy who'd shown up on her class field trip and shown her where she really belonged. The one who'd let her cry on his shoulder when she had to leave her family, and who'd gone out searching for her in the middle of nowhere just because he'd heard her voice in his head. Okay, she said quietly, hoping she wouldn't regret the decision. So what do we do next? Sorry, just need a moment. Just give me a moment. Just taking a moment here. These ones are really important. They're like the foundation of their entire dynamic. There's something so, oops, I tapped my mic. Sorry, hope that wasn't a bad sound. But there's something so special about it. Like this is the foundation of their trust and their love that carries them so long. Here, let me catch up on chat. Me when they're cognates. Me when they're cognates, lying on the floor screaming. If Sophie learned how to sew, she would make Fitz in her matching pajamas. Fitz already has multiple pairs of the same pajamas, which is so, like, does anybody else remember that scene where, like, Fitz walks in these pajamas, and then Keith walks in the same pajamas, and then I think Dex also walks in the same pajamas? Something like that. And it, like, it's so funny. He's such a dork, but, like, absolutely, Fitz needs to give a pair of his matching pajamas to Sophie. That would be incredible. I want that now. I need to write that maybe. Like or someone needs to draw it. I need to write it. That needs to happen. Best decision they ever made. So true. Putting them in the same telepathy class is absolutely everything. Fellas, is it gay? Straight in this case, to have a special connection and become cognates? Sometimes. I personally I'm gonna a controversial take. I don't think all cognates have to have a romantic relationship. I know I disagree with Tumblr on that one. I'm so sorry. Remember how the Forkle twins were cognates? I'll leave you with that. But in this case, absolutely. I feel like the cognates thing is really cute, but at the same time, Fitz constantly mentioning it while Sophie was refusing it half the time was I understand that for sure. I think about that. Yeah, he definitely did some pressuring of her because he was so excited and he was just like not aware enough of her feelings on the subject because she wasn't telling him her feelings and he wasn't aware of them and they weren't communicating about it. Yeah. Yeah. They're teenagers sometimes. Real question is who else was Sophie reaching out to? I presume her friends, but why say other people and not other friends? That makes it seem like she's reaching out to random people. That would be funny if she was just. I don't know. I doubt she can reach out to someone she doesn't know, but it would be funny if she could just like drop into the head of a random student at the school in the middle of class. I know she drops into Fitz's head in the middle of class, at least in one scene, and like scares him really badly, which is amazing, but true. I'm not carrying around a huge load of guilt like my dad. Wait until you learn about your brother. So true. The real question is Kath going to be able to get through reading these without going insane? That is the real question. Am I going to make it through this, or am I going to end up on the floor? Stay tuned. My video glitched for a moment. It's fine now when you got emotional. It's freaking out in solidarity. I have big feelings, and the stream has to acknowledge that, I guess. Yeah, I'm glad you all agree with me about matching Sophitz outfits. Catching and Chad. I was I don't know why I'm singing. This is like so weird to be live. I've never done this before. Yeah, that's fair. I understand Tumblr doesn't think it has to be a romance. I just think it's funny to tease Tumblr about that because I think I made a post one time when there was a point where Tumblr was joking that all cognates are romantic, and then I made a post like, remember how the Forkle twins were also cognates? And then I got a bunch of tags of people being like, abort mission, abort, abort. So that's what I'm thinking of. I just like to tease people about that. Imagine you're doing your schoolwork and then suddenly you hear that weird student going, "Hey," in your mind out of nowhere. I don't even know how I would feel. Like it's Sophie, so that's cool, but like also awkward. Kath the musical. The thing is that I love singing and I will sing if I don't stop myself. And so I do need to stop myself. Where was I even? There were so many chat messages. I'm so excited. Thank you all for chatting and hanging out with me. It's so fun. Um, but yeah, back to these scenes. They're so foundational because like all the exercises where they're sharing secrets with each other they've never told anyone else. It's like these scenes are why every other moment in this list is possible because they learn to trust each other here. It's it's the accepting each other's flaws. It's the knowledge that no matter what, you still trust them with your life. It's the bond. It's the bond. And I also like I love this quote. The he was also the boy quote. I think it's currently my header on Tumblr. I love this quote so much. The quote of like, no matter what he does, no matter his flaws, he is still the person I trust with my life. He is still the person that saved me from my life with the humans. He saved me from fading away. He saved me from so much. And like, yeah, it's everything. My Tumblr is it's I'll put it in chat. Sorry, this keyboard is probably very loud. That. I do a lot of talking about Sophitz on there. So if you're into that, which I assume you are if you are on this stream, not a bad place to go. It is that deep. It is. It's so their relationship is so deep. Like I just don't get it. I mean, I just don't on some level, I do get it why people are Fitz haters and so Fitz haters about all of it. But on another level, I just don't get it at all when you look at scenes like this and you realize, like, how foundational their trust is. And, like, the fact Sophie forgives Fitz for being mad at her isn't because she's, like, afraid of him. How can you look at scenes like that and think this? It's because he saved her. It's because they trust each other and they have a deep bond. The girls who get it, get it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm so glad I have friends who are on the same team as me. Also, yes, absolutely rip eating mooncakes. That was my original Tumblr username. Um, I chose that Tumblr username. Embarrassing moment here. Before I knew mooncakes were a real food, I thought they were only in Keeper of the Lost Cities. So that's a big part of why I changed it, is because I was embarrassed about that. Because I'm white, and so I didn't want to be, like, intruding on anything. I don't think many people actually hate Fitz so much as putting Keith and Fitz against one another, which is kind of Shannon's fault, TBH, and then loving Keith. I think that's the case for some people, but, like, if you go on, like, say, Pinterest or Instagram, look through the keeper tag for just a little while, there's people going on and on about how Fitz is an abuser and how he's evil and how he's terrible, and, like, that's a different thing from pitting them against each other, you know? That's just, yeah, we don't need to get into all of that, but uh, really depends on the site how Fitz is which I'm grateful for. Yeah, oh, it looks like my stream is buffering. Are we still good? Can you still hear me and everything? I have no idea how you come to that conclusion. I agree. How can you be like, Fitz is an abuser, and look, after reading the series, it's mind-boggling. There's a lot to talk about there that if I get into it, I'm gonna keep talking for like hours about like society and how it reflects in that and all kinds of things. So like that's for another time. um oh good, I'm glad the stream is okay. Okay. Um yeah, there are different moods on the sites for sure. I think I started on Pinterest in fandom, and then I was in the Goodreads fandom, and then mostly the wiki, and then mostly Discord, and then right now it's kind of partly Discord, partly Tumblr, kind of my main domain. So I've been in a lot of circles, never Instagram though. I was on the Pinterest fandom originally though, so I did see that. But I do feel since we're mostly Tumblr people here, I can say this, TikTok um pathologizing everything. Like, I feel like that's relevant to the fact that Fitz is, like, that's talking about Fitz changed from, oh, I don't like him or I don't think he's right for Sophie to, oh, he's an abuser. Like, I feel like that shows a wider shift in the internet. But again, we're getting way off topic. I could talk about this for forever. Yeah, second stream Fitz is an evil. Maybe. Maybe. But I am starting school soon, so I shouldn't commit to anything. But TikTok, I forget that TikTok has fandoms. TikTok has everything. Sadly. Oh yeah, there is. There definitely is. The fandom is definitely on there. You don't need to check it out though. It's fine. The only good thing that's come from that is people in there are really into Natty's wildest dreams, which is so based. That's mostly what I know about it. Okay, I need to get back on topic. So, yes, love these scenes. Love them. They're so sweet, foundational. Yeah, it's the bond, TM. Now we're into the top 50%. We've made it halfway. This one is, there's also two slides for this one. Oh wow. I have notes on all of these, so I remember what to say, and these are like twice as long as the notes on the last scenes were. So that's how you can tell we're getting high up in the numbers. So I'll read this one. It's from Flashback Chapter 43. This is the scene that the Sophitz art is from. That the Laura Hollingsworth portrait of them under the pancakes is. That's this scene. Read it. Sometimes I wish you saw yourself a little clearer, so you'd actually believe me when I tell you this. He waited patiently for her to meet his eyes. You're brilliant and talented and beautiful and are you crying? Oh, bye, Dizzy Flowers. Thank you so much for joining. It was really good to have you here. And thanks for following me on Tumblr. I'm gonna go full streamer mode for a moment, so everybody, love if you would like the stream, love if you would subscribe in case I ever do this again. Follow me on Tumblr maybe if you haven't already, although that's kind of a different thing. So yeah, streamer mode. Thank you for being here. Sorry, she said, as his thumb brushed away the tears she hadn't been able to blink back in time. Sorry. Don't apologize. Why? I'm being ridiculous. It's just, no one's ever said anything like that to me before. And to have it coming from him? He brushed another tear away, and she pretty much melted against his hand. I'm glad I got to be the first to do it, he whispered, leaning close enough for his breath to tickle her damp cheek. This is another one that's like so embarrassingly for me to read. So embarrassing. And I'm gonna keep doing it until I make you believe, okay? I mean it. I'm not giving up until you realize how awesome it's all going to be. And until then, we're good. Little time skip here. He leaned even closer, and her heart became very aware that he might kiss her, and she would have let him, and had zero regrets. But when he closed his eyes, his lips only brushed her cheek and whispered, trust me again. And even though it wasn't everything, it was a real beginning. For now, that was more than enough. Yeah, I'm gonna need to take another moment here. I think after every moment, now that we've gotten this high up, I'm gonna need to like pause for a moment and like cry. Ah, lays on the floor, head in hands. Yeah. This is actually, I forgot about this one. So there are actually four almost kisses in this series. Oh, this is kind of a kiss. It's a cheek kiss, but that's like just as good to me. I love a cheek kiss. Um, yeah, he's disgustingly sweet. This is the scene. It's a great one to have art of. I'm glad we have art of this because it is just, I love it. Oh, I forgot to give the context for this one. So if you don't know, it's basically the first scene after the Alicorn birth. So it's the first time they really talk after they've confessed their feelings to each other. There's more in the scene. They kind of talk about how long they've had crushes on each other and why they're scared about dating, and of course, matchmaking, blah. It's very sweet except for that part, but Honestly, even that is sweet because Fitz is like so sure they'll be matched because he believes in them so much and he believes in the system too. But it's sweet, it's cute. He doesn't want her to worry. He loves her. It's nice. I love it. And I honestly think it's really sweet that they don't kiss here because they had just talked about they were like I haven't really dated before and I'm kind of scared. And so then they don't kiss. They take it a little bit of slow. And I like that. It's a beautiful scene. Like Chef's Kiss, it is perfect. No notes. And like matchmaking is part of what they're addressing here. But I mean, of course, a big part of what they're addressing is Sophie's feelings of inadequacy and Fitz's admiration of her and that dynamic. And I really love that dynamic. Um, of course, you shouldn't like rely on someone for your self-esteem, but like it's sweet. They're teenagers. It happens. And like we were saying with the pedestal thing, like he admires her. And I love that. He and yeah, don't mind me. I'm just gonna. My note here, quote unquote, says this whole thing makes me feel very keyboard smash. So I just did like a little verbal keyboard smash. Yeah, that's what's happening here. I that would have been an excellent get it all out, but also very valid. I'm simply salty we didn't get one. I 100% agree. I definitely think we should have gotten a kiss. It was and like the thing that I'm a little irritated that like there are so many sweet scenes where we almost get a kiss with Sophitz, and there's a kiss with Dex immediately, and then there's a kiss with Keith immediately. And like, I mean, there's one almost kiss with Keith before they confess feelings, but like after Sophie and Fitz confess feelings, there's so many almost kisses. And like with both the other pairings, it's like immediate. And like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I'm over it. But I also just, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to have such a big difference in how that's handled. But there's a cheek kiss, so it's not all lost. You shouldn't rely on someone for your self-esteem. Someone get Keith on the line. Oop, oop. Yeah, no, I mean, they're going through a lot. I get it. Said with love, yeah, me too. They're going through it, these kids. They're going through it. Like, I'm over it. Are you, Kath? Are you? I wasn't for a while. I am now. I'm over it now. Like, I still wish we'd had one, but I'm not, like, mad about it. But yeah, I will. I will make a fuss about it if called upon. I love hearing Stellarloon stuff and just going, wait, what? Did you, like, why didn't you read Stellarloon, Tater? I assumed you had. I mean, spoilers here for, I guess if anyone else hasn't, basically, if I remember correctly, they confess their feelings to each other and then they just kiss right away. And then Sophie, like, immediately goes and tells Fitz about it because they have to. It's like a cognate thing where they have to talk about things they don't want to talk about. And Keith, of course, comes up in that. And so then Sophie tells Fitz that she kissed Keith, and like, I get that they're teenagers and teenagers handle things badly, but like, I honestly would have believed in I honestly thought Sophie could do better than to tell Fitz that wasn't ready for a boyfriend and then just immediately get one. Like that makes me mad. That does make me mad. Like, I love Sophie. That's said with love. She's like what? She's 15, so real. But doesn't mean I'm not irritated about it. These two are a slow burn that does not match the other burns. It's true. They are so sweet. It's like Shannon had a tweet a long while back before Flashback came out where she said something like, when it's time to write a scene you've been building to for 7 long books, and then she never told anyone what the scene was because she doesn't like to post spoilers. And that could be like the scene with the trolls, but I've always assumed that's this scene because it's just like it's the scene. Sophie's had a crush on him for so long. Not this scene. I mean the then trust this scene. Because Sophie's had a crush on him for so long. Their relationship is such an important part of the series. I don't get how people can disregard that when there's so much. Nobody expects the cognate inquisition. That's so good. I need to make that. I forgot they called it the Inquisition. That's so That's so something. I've read too much fanfic. I can't read real books anymore, and I was out of the hyperfixation by. That's fair. I'm not out of the obsession. I read these. I work ahead on my homework so that I have more time to read these books on the day they come out. That's what I'm like. So, let me go look going back to my notes here. I said I have extensive notes on this. Like I wrote a lot. It's one of the very few sweet moments we have from them while they're dating. Yeah, that's true. We don't get a lot because there's so much happening. What even happens in flashback besides the trolls? What are they working on? I guess they're probably just working on researching and stuff. I should remember. Oh, Alvar's Tribunal. That's right. Is a big thing. Yeah, so they're all kind of absorbed in that. Um, there are some moments that are like more important, but this is like these are the scenes that make me go crazy. And it highlights a really sweet part of their dynamic. Like, if it's just being so sweet to her. And sometimes I have to remind, like, in this scene, how old is he? Like, 16? Like, I'm sorry? I love him. I love him. I wish he was real. I didn't say that. You didn't hear me say that. Kath, you are the highest level of hyperfixated. I'm honorarily hyperfixated since I'm not ADHD. I like am I will take the title of honorary hyperfixation. I just read the books when I should be doing homework. Read the books. That's also valid. I get that. Working ahead is a lot of work. Sometimes I don't do that, but I'm yeah. I'm also obsessive about being a good student, so so yeah, we're in the top 50% now, and as you can see, like there is so much good stuff in this series for them. It's good. I love them. Oh, next. Kath, stop being down bad on Maine. No, I won't. You can't stop me. Did anybody notice? Here, I'll show you. Notice my little thing I've been doing here? I've just been oops, spoilers. I'm making the color go lighter because it's cute. I thought that would be cute. Anyway, the iconic scene. You know it, you love it. I had to include it. I probably don't need to give a lot of context for this, but yeah, it's getting lighter. Um, this is the confession scene. I don't even remember what else happens surrounding this scene besides the alicorn birth is right after. I don't remember what happens before, but I know that they're in the hall and they're talking about winnowing galas. And Sophie's like, "Wow, he's gonna have a winning gala and find the perfect girl, and it's not gonna be me." Like the lack of awareness. And then this happens. They confess sealing feelings, and yeah, there was a lot I could have taken from this scene, so I just chose a few notable bits that I like especially. Fitz laughed and took her other hand, holding on in a way that felt different from all the other times they'd held hands before, like he was never going to let her go again. Which miraculously stopped her from saying like anymore, because she was just going like, I like you, like you, you know. It might have stopped her from ever talking again. Sorry, I can't keep reading. I need a moment. So dramatic. It's so cute. Especially when she realized his eyes were now focused on lips. I've spared myself by not going any further with that. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's right when Sylvanie interrupts them. Anyway, which I'm not salty about. I've not rewritten this scene twice so they actually kiss. I have a new goal, Fitz said quietly, interrupting her downward mental spiral. I'm going to get you to trust me. Her eyes met his. I do trust you. Trust this. Reached up and cupped her cheek, and her triumphant heartbeat drowned out everything. Her brain. He's going to kiss me. So sweet. I don't even know what I skipped here. This is when Sylvanie interrupts, actually. I don't know what I guess it was too long and there was too much filler I skipped, but yeah, those are kind of, I originally had this scene at number 1 because it's the iconic scene, but as you can see, it moved down a lot because I kind of changed from sorting them based on what's important to based on like what is important to me personally, what makes me go the most insane. So let me catch up on chat. That's like the reverse of my Princess Pro presentation. I haven't seen that. I just is that the reading rumble? I vaguely saw that around a while back. I don't remember what it's. I didn't look through the presentations though. I should. They were trying to find Alvar's memories again and it wasn't working, so they went for a walk and he showed her override to the gate. Oh, that makes sense. Thank you, Quill. I should have known that you would know. Thank you. I should have known that you would know. Affectionate, like very affectionate. Nah, Fitz, that was smooth. He is. It's like it's crazy sometimes. Tater, I don't even I wasn't looking at chat, so I don't even know what the eyebrow was about. Probably the whole stream because I warned you I was going to be like this. It was on every slide that I was going to be fangirling and crying. That was you were sufficiently warned. Yep, that was the reading rumble. Yeah, I should catch up on that. I should have known that you would know. I see I have a reputation. Yeah, I would say of the people on Keepler, we are probably the two people who have a reputation for knowing the most about it. Although, I don't even think most people know who I am on Keepler these days, which is fine. I'm not, like, I'm genuinely not mad about it. But, but yes, you definitely, you know everything. um, here, once, I'm gonna get a drink of water, I'm gonna mute myself to do that. The eyebrows about Sophie being down bad, not you. Oh. Well, yeah, that's fair. They're both down bad. This is such a sweet scene. No, it's I'm losing myself. I'm just drowning in the scene. Oh, I have kind of like a thing where I have an aside here about I think I originally got spoiled that Sophie and Fitz got together because I was one of the only wiki mods when Flashback came out. So I do think I got spoiled on that because sometimes people got early copies. But it was still like such a good and legitimately lovely fulfillment of what the series had been leading up to. Like it was a good scene. It it did. It made me happy. It wasn't disappointing at all. I obviously have a fondness for it. I think it was originally a request from Zoe, fan art of the Lost Cities on Tumblr, who asked me to rewrite this scene so they kiss. But then I did a rewrite of my rewrite because I just love this scene. It's yeah, it's a little awkward, so it's a little bit painful to read, but it's still just so sweet and so good. There's so much of both of them being like, I could never be enough to date you, and it makes me want to like knock their heads together. Like, calm down. Sophie's like, oh, he's the Fitzpacker. I can't date him. And Fitz is like, oh, she's the Sophie Foster. I can't date her. Like, calm down. Get over yourselves and just kiss already. Sorry. um, but yeah, these are two of my favorite parts of the scene because they're just so sweet. The holding hands like he was never going to let her go again. Ah! Trying not to peek my mic here, trying not to scream so loud it breaks your ears, but it's in there. And then I'm going to get you to trust me, then trust this. Ugh, ugh, right in the soul, right in the soul. It's so good. KOTLC special interest prevails again. Yeah, we've got hyperfixations and special interests in the chat because that is the basis of any good fandom. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do. Hyperfixations and special interests for fandom. You do everything. You do the most. Niche internet micro celebrity. Quill is, for sure. I don't know about me. I think I'm probably I've speculated before that if you like add up all of the hours that people have spent in this fandom, like doing stuff, I'm probably number one. That would not surprise me. Like hundreds and hundreds of hours. I've been here. Your thoughts are so interesting to hear, dude. Thank you. That's part of why this took me so long to write, is that I was kind of thinking through my thoughts and I just had so much to say. I have so much to say about them. Let's put them in the war. Let's do it. Yeah. Yeah, maybe if we put them in the washing machine, they'll come out right. They'll come out and they'll be normal. I don't want them to be normal. You're who this scene was written for, I'm convinced. And thank you for that, Shannon Messenger. Thank you. I am so grateful. If my autism is at your service, thank you. Thank you, Quill. I'm so grateful. So yeah, that's number 4. We're about to get all the way into the top 3. Honestly, this should have made the top 3, but like there's so much good stuff in the series. And like I said, I think all 3 of the top 3, if I remember correctly, are angsty. So yeah, I just looked at mine. Yeah, they're all angsty. Yeah, I have a little bit of a problem. So this is the top sweet one. I love them. Okay, next. Okay, this is another 2 slide one. It's a big one. It's a big one. This is the Celestial Festival at the end of Flashback. Alvar's memory is still gone, and the Never Seen have brought him to Fitz, and like they've told him that Alvar is the key to their plans, and like, what are you gonna do about it, Fitz? And so Fitz is like face to face with Alvar. He has the opportunity to make sure he never hurts anyone ever again. But then everybody tries to convince him not to do it. Like Biana, Lynn, Keith, they're all going like, "Don't do it, Keith. Don't do this." But Sophie is the only one who can convince him not to do it. So let me read. "Don't," Biana shouted. "Don't let them break you the way they broke him. There has to be another way," Lynn added. "And if there isn't," asked, tears gleaming in his eyes, "can you live with yourselves if someone else dies tonight?" "Please, Fitz," Sophie begged. "I get it. I get why you think you have to do, but this isn't who we are." "She's right," Biana said, tears streaming down her pale cheeks. "Whatever happens, we'll deal with it, but not this. This will break you. That's what they want." Fitz stared at her for a long second, then at each of his friends, before his gaze settled on Sophie. "I let him go," he whispered. "You're going to." "Maybe," he admitted. "But if you kill him, regret it more." Transmit. "Don't let them do that. It'll ruin you. Don't want to lose you." He sighed, and for a long second she couldn't tell what he was. Then he lowered the dagger. Head on the floor. Me too. Oh yeah, this one. It's it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot for me to handle. Um, they're all. I mean, obviously everyone has a role to play in convincing Fitz not to do it here. I don't want to discount that at all. But to me, the fact that Sophie is the one who manages to she tells him, "I don't," just like what he knows that, like, he gets mad at her because he loses Alden. He loses her in when she gets kidnapped and he thinks she's dead. He loses her when she almost fades away again. And it's like those words have so much history in their relationship. He hears them, he hears her. If Sophie tells him not to do it despite being human, despite having a comfort with violence that the elves don't, then he knows he shouldn't because it's Sophie telling him. Check on chat if I'm like able to do that. Cath cry counter, put it on screen. Yeah, put a Cath cry counter on screen. It'll be a lot. I warned you though. I warned you. I'm obsessed with it. Too. Me too. Stopped for 30 seconds to wash my paintbrush, and this is the scene I miss. Kath just got me at this point. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for including this, and I'm also not because it is them. It is so much them, and I love them. Fitz and Alvar losing the bracket is my villain origin story. That was my bad. Come on, Quill, how dare you? I love Mr. Snuggles and I'm not sorry. Foul, dead on the floor. Yeah. Um That was one I did not predict when I set up the bracket. That one would be like Fitz and Alvar versus Fitz and Mr. Snuggles would be such a big thing. But they're both, you see them both on this list. They're big moments between them. I was definitely on Team Fitz and Alvar because it's so important to Fitz's character. But like Fitz and Mr. Snuggles, they also have. Mr. Snuggles plays a part in Fitz's character too. I'm not too mad about it. I think it's Summer you have to apologize, not me, the big Fitz and Alvar stan. Okay, I lied. I am a little sorry about the Snuggles situation, but it got a little out of my control. Hey, it happens. It's a bracket. I'm not mad about it. I think he should have done it anyway. Fitz violence art, being the one to pull him. Yeah, Fitz. I don't know. I wouldn't have been mad if he'd done it. I don't want to see what would have happened in the fandom, but I wouldn't have been mad about it. That would have been so interesting for his character, being the one to pull him back. Yet they keep pulling each other back. They are the people who can pull each other back. It's so much. It's so much. And like that's the whole thing about being cognates. When she's healing Finton, he's the one to pull her back too. That's a thing about telepathy is that you need someone to pull you back, and that is what they are to each other. Um, that means Fitz commits violence, not violence against Fitz. Want to be very clear. No, I totally got what you meant there. Fitz should be allowed to punch someone or many people. So true. I did apologize to Summer. Don't worry. I'm not worried about it. It's a bracket. I don't. Summer like said too. Like they weren't legitimately upset. It's just it's a bracket. Things get heated. We're having fun. Confession, I just like dragons. My vote had nothing to do with the story. SMH, despite my note specifically saying it was about the story, it's okay. I forgive you. Yeah, as Melly said, the dynamic was part of the rule. It's okay. I'm not mad about it. It's a bracket. However, if after watching this stream, you are obligated to vote for Fitz and Sophie slash J. um, what else is it? Oh, and I also wrote, I think he stops because Sophie is the only one who understands. Yeah, she understands why he wants to kill Alvar. She's been there with him and walked through it. She saw him when he found out about Alvar. And because she's lived with humans, she understands the urge more than the other elves. The other elves are like, ew, wanting to commit violence, that makes you horrible. And Sophie is like, she gets it. She's seen inside his head. She knows what it meant to him when he betrayed him. She knows how it hurt him. She knows that he just wants to protect everyone. And so, with her knowing all of that and still telling him to stop, he knows. He knows that she knows him and he knows he trusts her. He admires her. Yeah, he stops because he trusts her more than anyone else right now. Because he doesn't even trust his parents right now. I think his dynamic with Biana is complicated in this book because she's also mad at his parents, but he's also like kind of mad at everyone except Sophie, which is kind of fair. But yeah, it's kind of a whole thing, but this note here says flops on couch and screams. Thank you, Catherine. That's a very helpful note for what to say. Thank you, past Catherine. Yeah, I also noted that I made a lot of cuts here because there's a lot going on, so I just included some of the most important parts. And because I can't possibly fit it all on the slide, and that's kind of what most stood out to me. But yeah, it's a scene with a capital S. My dynamic with Mr. Snuggles, which is that I love him. Oh hi Dizzy Flowers, welcome back. We're talking about this scene and we're also talking about the bracket I've been running on Tumblr for the best Fitz duo. And Quill was a big advocate for Fitz and Mr. Snuggles doing well in the bracket. And that's very fair, Quill. I support your dynamic with Mr. Snuggles. She gets him. She sets a warehouse on fire. Yes! That's one of my like if I was ranking my favorite Sophie scenes, her setting the warehouse on fire, number one, unquestioningly. It's good. It's good. And then when I think I don't remember this exactly, but I'm pretty sure because I haven't read the later books as much. But I'm pretty sure, like, when she tells him that she set the warehouse on fire, he disagrees with her decision, but he takes it completely calmly. And he's just like, okay, I'm gonna go tell my family because they need to protect themselves after that. He just takes it and he goes to action. He knows that she's her own person and he trusts her. Yeah. Even after their breakup, even after they don't trust each other anymore, they still do. Yeah, they both have the anger. They should be allowed to commit crimes. I 100% agree, Tater. And Fitz should also get to commit arson 100%, unquestioningly. They both should get to commit arson. Oh, yeah, that's number three. It's a doozy. I think all of my top ones are doozies. So they're all angsty if I remember correctly. But this is the heaviest one though, so two will be a little lighter. The Place of Light loses its appeal. Book one, chapter 47. Um, this is the one I've already referenced this a lot of times on this stream. This is when she almost fades away after the kidnapping, and he is the only person who can pull her back. Let me read. Sophie. Awareness tugged her away from the light, and she fought against leaving the freedom. She didn't want to go back to the darkness, but she couldn't tune out that voice. Sophie, Sophie, Sophie. The light turned teal and sparkled like a jewel all around her. The voice was soft, still crisp, like it had an accent she could place. Fitz. The rainbow world lost its appeal with a surge of newfound strength. She pulled every remaining ounce of her concentration and wrapped it around the sound of his voice, letting it pull her back into reality. Yeah, we're really getting into it now. I mean, we kind of already did, but every single one is gonna be even more. These two are the pulling each other back. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They are the people who can pull each other back. It's so. You know that, yeah, dying for each other is cool, but living for each other is a lead idea? That's this scene. That is, that is so true. That is, yeah, yeah. Living for each other. Yeah, she comes back to life because of him. I'm sure there are other people that would have worked. I bet Grady and Adeline would have worked for sure too, but like the fact that it is him, he's the one she can reach out. He's the one who comes looking for her even though he thinks she's dead just because he hears her voice in his head. Now we're getting into it. What if the last date been a walk in the park, Tater? I'm never not getting into it, but I respect it. I'm getting murdered by these skill issues slash J. I'll let you two hash that out. I won't get involved. Path KOTLC dramatic reading win. Honestly, like if I wasn't worried about copyright, I would. Like I would do streams where I just read books, not even just KOTLC. I would just like read books to people and chat with them about it, but I'm sure there's a copyright law against that. I'm sure I can't do that. But that would be cool. She chose life for him. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I feel like this stream is so incomprehensible. Like sometimes I'm saying smart things and sometimes I'm just screaming, and honestly, that's like basically what I put in the description of the stream. So you should have known. The Rainbow World lost its appeal. Sophie homophobic. LMAO. I'm no comment. I haven't had emotions about these two for years. Well, you're welcome. You have them now. You have them now. That's what I'm telling you. Have them now. As Sophie's just Skittles during Pride Month. I don't even know what you're referencing. There are people who do it already. They make their own vids reading them. IDK if the copyright laws, but if you're not trying to monetize it, I think fine. That's a fair point if I'm not trying to monetize it. I don't yeah, I don't know what the law. I feel like since audiobooks are so I don't know if I could I'm sure I couldn't do it on Twitch. Maybe I could on YouTube. I don't know. I don't have anybody to like ask if it would be okay. Like I don't know any lawyers. But you know, it's a thought. Thought for sure. Okay, let me look. This is another one where the amount of notes I've taken is extremely excessive. During Pride Month, Skittles turns their Skittles gray. That is a weird choice. That is. That's all I have to say. That's a weird choice. I'm a lawyer in my heart. You can trust me, Lang. I trust. I believe anything Quill says. Absolutely. Unequivocally. I don't even know if I used that word right. Okay, look at how I need to make sense of these. So many. It's something about him being the one to find her again. Oh, yeah. Both times when she was lost in the human world and then to the light, he is the one to find her and call her back. Oh, so true, past me. He is the one to convince her that she belongs somewhere. Yeah, that is. I mean, I'd say Dex also plays a big part in that primarily, like convince and Gency too. Convince and Morella actually for that matter, all of like the major characters in the book are pretty big in convincing Sophie that she belongs in the elven world, but Fitz is the one that brings her there and he helps her like confront her fear of doctors and like convinces her that elves are different. He's a big part of that for sure. And so she believes him when he says to come back. Um, And there's also an element of him representing the elven world that makes this moment so appropriate. Like, of course, Fitz is the one to pull her back because he's a stronger representative of the elven worlds than anyone else. Like, he's basically saying, come back to the elves, come back. It's that symbolism that's so important to me throughout the series of like Sophie being the human world and Fitz being the elven world and the push and the pull and the breakup and the get together and all of it. Sophie learns more about the flaws of the world, and similarly, she grows further apart from Fitz. But both of them continue to hold on to each other. It's, it's. Ah, I don't even know what to say anymore. I just. Oh, they, they. I'm being reduced to single words. And then also, like, he nurses her back to health, and he doesn't even know her that well at this point. Like, he does. Like, he's the one to bring her to the Lost Cities and everything, but this is before the telepathy classes with Jurgen. Like, they're not that close, all things considered. They don't see each other that much in school, even. Um, and there's this whole conflict of Sophie not even knowing if she can sit with him at lunch because, to be honest, mean to her, whatever. So they're not that close yet, but they are. He cares for her. He sits by her bedside and barely sleeps until she's well. I think there's an element of like he feels responsible for her because he brought her there in a way. And they choose to be responsible for each other. Does that make any sense? I don't even know if words make sense at this point. I'm losing my mind. um, I don't know, their lives are just so irreversibly twined together because he's the one to find her, and here he finds her again. Oh, and I also let me catch up on chat. Come back, shoddy. No comment. You got one more, bro. Don't die on the floor just yet. Power through it. We're lending you our strength. I've decided for all of us. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to make it through the last one, but boy, everything you say makes all the sense in the world listening to you. Like scripture or something. Thank you. If I if there's one thing I could talk, how long has the stream been so far? An hour and 15 minutes I've been talking about Sophitz. That should tell you something, and we're not even done yet. There's one thing I can talk about. Oh, I also put a note here that says, I'm now realizing I never included the scenes where he does find her, which maybe I should have. Yeah, those are good scenes. Those are like, that actually might have been a better number 10. I don't know, maybe that's number 11. Where like he finds her and there's the whole thing of like, I didn't realize your eyes were brown, and then like the telephone pole and he blinks to prove it to her and leaps her to Eternalia and all of that. That's all so cute. Maybe I probably should have included that, but eh. My religion is cat's word. That's very sweet. Thank you. Ugh, I just remember when people were like, I wish Fitz stayed in the coma longer. We don't need to talk about that. We don't need to talk about that. I love him. I love him. I have enough love for Fitz in my heart to replace all of the hate. When he finds her and then he finds her, do you get me? I get you. They find each other, they pull each other back over and over again. It's so much. So much. I'm like bracing myself for number one. Can I handle this? Can I get through this? Alright, guys, I'm clicking the next slide button. I'm clicking it. This is a Sophitz Defender 101 class, absolutely. I'm equipping you with Sophitz feelings. I'm equipping you with the knowledge and the feelings to go out into the world. Hit us with a cat, decimate us, seatbelts, everybody. Alright, everybody, buckle in. Buckle in. We're putting the car into full gear. This is about to be a roller coaster, absolutely. I think that Fitz would play Kalimba. I don't actually know what that. It's an instrument, that makes sense. Oh, that looks. I definitely think Fitz should play an instrument. I'm gonna have to look at that later. Let's explode '07 to everyone's emotional state. Hit the gas, cat. Okay, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. Number one. What if I want you to wake up because I miss you? I should have had y'all guess at what this was gonna be. Flashback chapters 14 and 15. There are 4 slides here. The longest slides before this was 2 slides. I have 4 slides here about this scene. So let's get into this is gonna be some long reading. Context. This is after they were tortured by Umber. They're in the healing center and Sophie has woken up and Fitz has not woken up yet. He studied the relaxed lines of his features, the soft flutter of his long, dark eyelashes, the adorable way his arms cradled Mr. Snuggles against his bandaged chest. I don't know what to do. I hadn't meant to translate words, but it felt good to say them. And it wasn't like he could hear her. He hadn't flinched, his breathing hadn't changed. She told him, I really wish you were. He let out a snuffly snore, which gave her the courage to ask, what if I just want you to wake up because I'm tired of fighting the echoes all by myself? That wasn't the right question. What if I want you to wake up? She'd been trying to stay busy, trying to not look at the beautiful boy sleeping in the corner. The boy Umber had attacked in order to make her cooperate. She hated having him so far away. She watched his eyelids flutter a second longer, forced her gaze elsewhere, realizing she'd taken wallowing to a whole new level. It was time to get back on track. Tomorrow she'd return to her routine. More medicine, more lesson, more sharp intake of breath sliced through her planning. And when she turned back to Fitz, eyes were one blink, two, then stayed open. I'm gonna pause here before I read the next part of the scene. Because just that part alone is everything to me, so I just need to take a moment before we even get to like the big part. I'm sorry, did you hear that? Did you see that? Okay, okay, I'll keep going, I'll keep going, I'll keep going. The conversation seemed to die there, and Sophie hoped that meant he was going to get some rest. But after a few minutes, he whispered, I heard you. Heard what? When I was still out of it, I heard your voice in my head. I think it's why I woke up. Her face tried its best to burst into flames. Sorry, I. Don't be, he interrupted. I'm glad I'm awake. So am I, she admitted. Have to be super careful, okay? I will if you will, he made her promise. He waited for her to meet his eyes, and when she did, he gave her the sweetest smile she'd ever seen. By the way, pressing Mr. Snuggles against his heart, I missed. What do I say now? Um, Bye. I'm ending stream. I'm ending. I'm done. I'm done. I can't say anything that's better than that. Um Okay, oh my. So this is not like a typical like number one. I don't think most people even remember this from the series, but when we're talking about moments that make me go insane, it's number one. This is number one. It's not like as iconic as the others. It's kind of small in the grand scheme of the series, but it's everything to. Let me catch up on chat. There's a lot. I've seen the Kalima Tumblr posts. I should look at those. Snap, oh, the Mr. Snuggles cameo. Yeah, hell yeah, Mr. Snuggles. Yeah. He is in a lot of good scenes. He's important. He is an important character, and I believe that. And he's important to their relationship. Because she has Ella and he has Mr. Snuggles, and it's cute. They should have stuffed animal playdates more often, which I don't even know if they canonically do, but they do now. Terrified of how long the notes are. They're not that actually that much longer than they have been for the other top threes, but they are long. um, beautiful boy, pretty boy. He is my pretty boy. What did I even just say? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. You're right. He is the pretty boy, not mine. I didn't say anything about that. He's Sophie's pretty boy, not mine. It's just a butterfly. Stop with at this point with all the fluttering. You know, Sophie has a lot of fluttering in her stomach too. Maybe they're like Sophitz butterfly AU. That would be cute. I want to see that drawn now. um, shakes him, shakes him, shakes him. So true. Puts him in my pocket and eats him raw. That's exactly how I feel. Thank you for putting it into words. He's about to fly away. So true. This is fine. This is okay. I'm normal. We're all normal. So normal. This is a stream for normal people. If you have come to this stream, if you have sat through this entire stream, I don't even know what to tell you about your mental state. Um, I diagnosed you with terminal Sophitz disease. Pow pow pow, dead dead dead. What if we blowed up? Moments of silence for our sanity. Don't worry, Kath, I remember this. I'm glad you remember this moment because I know I've posted about it before, but it's big. It's so good. Streams that make me commit arson. Please don't, actually. I mean, maybe. Only in the elven world. We're good, Kath. You've definitely not ruined us by this presentation. If I haven't ruined anyone's sanity with this presentation, I'm not sure I've accomplished my goal. Oopsie daisy. I just dropped a remote. One moment. Okay, anyway, where was I? Ella's blue and Snuggles is red and Sophie's red and Fitz is blue. Gonna need a moment? Yeah. Yeah. I'm incorporating that into my belief system as we speak. You said he is my pretty boy. Don't worry, Kath. I got it written down so we don't forget. That's the problem, is that I'm going to leave this recording up, and I'm terrified of all of the things that I've said that are going to live on the internet forever now. Stop having a parasocial relationship with Fitzroy Backer. He's not your pretty boy. He can't be your pretty boy. So for people who are not involved in like YouTuber communities, this is like a common meme Tater is quoting about how basically one-sided relationships people have with streamers a lot of the time. And you got me. I do have a parasocial relationship with Fitzroy Avery Vacker. But I also, via the power of fanfiction, I control him. So I don't actually know what that means in this context, but I said it. Ellie, you're a genius with that color thing. I mean, not she, sorry. Wait, do you use she? You use he now. He is. Elvin Arson, I mean, go for it. You're saying our chats out loud. Maybe we should be worried about what we're putting on the internet. That's true, although I'm not always quoting people's names, so you're mostly anonymously surviving. I take nothing back, I regret nothing. You shouldn't. I've been having so much fun. I'm so grateful to y'all for chatting with me. Let's get into the analysis now that I've caught up on chat. Okay. Reorient myself in my um wow, where to even start? So, one of the reasons I think this is so important to me is it's like I have so many, probably half of these are from Flashback in this list. This is one of the first steps in them admitting their feelings for each other. They're both nervous to even say something so simple as "I miss you" because it has started to mean something more. Because, like, I feel like they've said it before, right? They've said that they've missed each other before, but there's something about it in this scene that is like they've been through this horrific bonding experience, and, like, now it has so much more meaning. But even in like not talking about them, admitting their feelings for each other, just in like a platonic way, no one else knows what they've gone through here. This is the first time they talk since it, and what they say is, "I miss you and I need." What does Sophie even say? Let me find it. Let me find it. What if I just want you to wake up because I'm tired of fighting the echoes all by myself? Because they need each other. They depend on each other. They're the only people who understand what has happened. Saying "I miss you" here, like it's "I love you and I don't know what to do without you and I'm worried sick about you and knowing you had to go through this too is devastating, but having you there made everything that much more okay and I wish you weren't there but I'm glad you were." It's uh it makes me insane. Legitimately. And that's not even getting into like the full context of the scene. Like I had 4 slides here because I couldn't cut anything else out, but there's so much of their conversation here I um I have cut out. Like just to list a few things. Elwyn has Sophie tell Fitz about the echoes because he knows it's better to hear from her. Insane. She helps Fitz through an echo attack. They help each other, like they're helping each other through their attacks already. She tells him that she's been taking sedatives. Is that how you pronounce that? And he recognizes what that means about how she's doing. I'm pretty sure she says something like, I think she tries to convince him to take one, and then he's like, "You can't say that because you're Sophie." And then she like points to a bottle and says, "I've been taking one every night," and he like stops. He freezes, and he goes like, "Wow." Like, it's a moment. It's a moment. There's so much in this scene. She tells him about her echo, and then she tells him it's too hard to tell him everything about her echo, and he says that that's okay, and that there's things he can't talk about either. Like that's such a mature moment, and I just love it. The like admission that they can't tell each other everything about it, and that's okay. He says he's glad Keith is there for her, because Keith has been visiting her and giving her all of these pins and stuff while she's been in the healing center. And he says he's happy about that because he cares for her enough to get over his jealousy of Keith. There's so much trust, there's so much love, there's so much care in this scene. It is like the Sophitz scene to me. This is like this is why I never understood when people are like, "Wow, I was so bored by Flashback because there was so much time in the healing center." Like I was riveted by the character development and relationship development, and like I get it. Like in some level I get it. I respect it. If it wasn't for you, it was for me. Those scenes were for me. The recovery. And this is another moment where she pulls Fitz back. Like he's in a coma and she pulls him back. but just by telling him that she needs him. Let me catch up on chat. I need to catch up. Does this mean we can make Cass say stupid things? Oh, we've been given power, Melly, you're so right. I have been skipping over some messages I didn't want to read, because they had swear words I didn't want to say or whatever. But I will say stupid things. Absolutely. Battle couple for real. Battle couple Sophitz is lives in my heart. Absolutely. Like their telepathy, their like the way they like meld and connect with each other. I need to see them fight together. I need it for me. They know each other best. What if I ate a pillow? Exactly, exactly, exactly. When Biana said, "You know my brother really well, huh?" Paraphrase never seen. She was speaking facts. Yeah, they are the people who know each other best in the entire world. The character development in this scene alone, exactly. Head in hands thinking about them. I was probably swearing. Sorry, Kath. No, don't. It's fine if you swear in chat. I just don't want to read it out loud because that's a me thing. It's totally fine. It doesn't bother me. No, no, you don't need to apologize either, Tater. Like, I actually really don't mind it. I just don't want to say it personally. Oh, now, let me see if I remember to. Worcestershire sauce. Ah, I think that's how you say that. I know now. There was a whole thing where I was asked how to pronounce that and I said it wrong. There's context behind this. Put Fitz in the Worcestershire sauce. Put him in the sauce. Eat him up. Oh well then. Beep, beep, beep. Keyboard smash. Sorry for my poor humor. No, I respect it. I'm distracting. You are doing a great job of distracting me from going completely insane, so I appreciate it. You guys are pulling me back right now. Um, so yeah, this scene, like, I'm attributing a lot to it, to a few words, but I believe that I think that I'm not saying anything that's not true. And so in terms of scenes that make me go feral, like, not just at the surface level of what happens, but the level of meaning that is shown for their relationship, this is my number one. It's probably not what people would have expected. Not respected. It's probably not what people would have expected, but it's mine. It's number one for me, and that's my list. So yeah. We are the Fitz tier, Sophie. So true. Or the other way around. I want to be Sophie. You guys can be the Fitz to me. Well, I project on both of them, but I project more heavily onto Sophie. You eat Fitz, jail for Kath for 1,000 years. No, don't put me in jail. Then I can't make more cool streams. Hashtag guilt trip. I probably won't make one for a long time anyway, because I'm going to be back in school. Sorry, but look, everyone can assign who's who. I claim Sophie. Tater is Mr. Snuggles. That's so valid. Kathy, you're so amazing and talented and correct about them. Thank you. I I have wanted to do this for a while to kind of just share more in depth on my thoughts in like a way I can't really. I couldn't. Can you imagine if I tried to type all of this out, how long that would have taken? I mean, it's already been an hour and a half. Like, I feel so bad for anyone who was like, oh yeah, I'll watch back the recording of this stream. Did you expect it to be this long? Well, it is. Thank you, you're so sweet to me. Oh, they are hugging. They should hug more. Honestly, they should. What's that like one scene in Nightfall where like Fitz gives Sophie a hug? I don't even remember the context, but I remember that Morella is then like teases her on and on about the hug. Morella is me, and she's right. Honestly, there's like so many characters that are shippers in the series, and I live for it. Like Amy and Morella, I think are both Sophitz shippers. Grady is like borderline. Grady is like anti. No, Grady is a Sodex shipper. I take that back. He's like, what about Dex? What about Dex? No, but there are multiple Sophitz shippers in the series. Grizzle ships Sophitz. I remember that now too. I wouldn't be surprised if Sandor does. Anyway, we don't need to get into all of that, but I live for it. That's so valid of you. I'll be the Fitz to your Sophie. I love Fitz. You're the Fitz to my Sophie. Friends. I love that. You can stream from the jail corner? Absolutely not. If you put me in jail, I will never stream for you again. That's a boundary that I'm setting. No prison streams. I want to be Ella, absolutely. Right before they go to Lady Gisella's Nightfall, when they're covered in ash and Fitz hugs her anyway and gets his shirt all dirty. Oh, ignore the fact I could tell you that immediately off the top of my head. I know a normal amount about this series. You have been very useful. I appreciate you knowing a normal amount about this series. I love hearing your thoughts. That is such a good scene. I love it. It's so sweet. They need to hug more often. Even though they do hug a lot, like they need to hug more for me personally. More hugs, more forehead kisses. Those are my orders, please. Yeah, that's what I'd like. Healthy boundaries with Kath. I know how to set boundaries, such as I will not stream in prison. Boundaries are important to set. So there's an example for you. We have the two most insane people about this series here, Kath and Quill. I mean, yeah, we're both up there. For sure. Gosh, I keep glancing at the weather in the corner of my screen. It's currently 109 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and I'm just ignoring that as I, like, profusely sweat sitting in this room, upstairs room. Oh yeah, I love helping people with my normal amount of knowledge. You're the only person I know who knows more about this series than I do. Like, I worked on the wiki for probably hundreds of hours. So I have seen and written so much information about this. And yet you still somehow know more than me. And I've reread the series so many times. So like that is crazy. So Fitz heart, so true. So true. No, don't sing, Catherine. Your voice isn't warmed up, and this is gonna live on the internet forever. That's what you get for being Texan. I didn't choose this. It chose me. I was born here. But yeah, it is boiling. Let's go, Kath and me above 100-degree Fahrenheit weather. I'm so sorry. I wish we didn't have to live like this. You're gonna make me blush, Kath. You're welcome. Oh yeah, so you know how Fitz's full name is Fitzroy? Absolutely, I'm obsessed with it. Fitzroy Avery Vacker, my fave. Sophie's fave too. Oh, I didn't even switch to I have an ending slide, but but I'm still on this one. I have multiple ending slides. This one is Fitzbacker blushing, which Dragon Winnie drew on my request. But that's me because I'm thankful for you being here. I'm Fitzbacker blushing. I just thought it was cute. Oh, thank you for joining me. Thank you for hanging out and chatting with me and sharing your thoughts. Well, this means that a possible ship name is soy, like soybean, like Soldrine. That is good. There, I think I might have even. Did I make a post about that before? I think I actually made a post about that before. That that soy could be a ship name of theirs. It's good. I like it. Good. He blushing just like me for real. We're all blushing. That was your request. I'm not surprised in the slightest. The fan artists in this fandom, and the writers for that matter too, are so kind and generous for doing requests. Like, art is so time consuming to make, and like, it's so sweet of people to do it. Especially Winnie did like I miss her so bad on Tumblr. She did several things for me, lots of cute chibis. But yes, the Fitzpacker blush was one that she did for me. I think there's even a few pieces people have made for me of like it of oh like forehead kisses and stuff of Sophitz. So sweet. The art I had, I don't even know if I can go back to the first slide. The art on the first slide was made for me by my beloved friend Luna. Yeah, at the bottom left here. Luna drew that for me, and it's so cute. Um, gotta get back on my art grind. I want to create so bad. I gotta get back on my writing grind. Someone yuck me out a window. Yeah, I won't yuck you out a window, but you can throw me out of a window. You want. I'm very throwable. Same, she was so cool. I think she's still around on Instagram a little bit, but she's definitely not on Tumblr anymore, but I love. That was your profile picture for so long. It was. Let me go back to the last slide so nobody thinks I'm just um yeah, it was because it's so cute. That's not the only beautiful piece of Sophitz art she's made for me either. There was another one of like him like holding her like his arms around her while she leans on him that was so beautiful that she made for my birthday one year. I am so blessed to have talented friends and like Sel has written me several Sophitz drabbles that are so cute and I love them. Hi Em. We just got through the list, but now I'm just still live chatting because it's fun. We can throw each other out of the window. Just that I'm trying to think of the logistics of that. We need like windows that are opposite each other, and then we can like bounce off each other like Sophie and Fitz in the splotching match. Kath, when's your birthday? I gotta know for art reasons. Aw, it is this Christmas Eve. It is December 24th. You wanna know something that confuses me so much? Absolutely. Hands and unlovable hands. I think I'm quite lovable actually, but I did get that reference. We're both lovable. Hands and lovable hand. Oh, I also put in a little note here that Winnie has a speed paint of this on her YouTube. That's very cool. So if anyone wanted to check that out. Good. Hands and lovable hand out the window. So true. Now there's a Vacker teal because not all the Vackers have eyes. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess, well, so in my family too, like, my mom has a certain shade of eyes that I have some siblings that have that same color. So I think it's not impossible for there to be one specific eye color that gets passed on to some but not all. I'll push you guys out the window. I'll push you guys get out the window. Thanks. Thanks, I guess. Not all Vackers have eyes? Not all Vackers have teal eyes, is what I mean. I might have read that wrong. Like I'm gonna get a drink of water. This is getting long, so I am probably about to end, but really thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart for joining me. You guys made this so much fun. And I hope you enjoyed my long coming analysis and gushing and crying and dramatic reading about Sophitz because I love them. And I want to share that. I hope you all are now going to have Sophitz brain rot for the next week at least. And vote for them in the duo poll whenever I get that up. I have to make the image for that, so that might take me a bit. But yeah, and I'll update the bracket. Opposite opposite of many-eyed Fitz, no-eyed Fitz. I don't know if I could make that. I don't think I could make that well, but you really shouldn't give me ideas because I will do it. Pull out my multi-eyed Fitz art. He's stealing them all. I love that there are like two actual pieces of fan art out there for many-eyed Fitz. Like, of all of the things I've written and created, the thing that has the most fan art is many-eyed Fitz. I think that's incredible. All Vackers have eye statistical error. It's Eyes George who has them all as an outlier and should not be counted. That's like there's a joke that Sil left a joke on my post that was like, by my calculations, this is Fitz or something like that. And then Luna corrected her because she said that since there's one eye in Fitz's name for the two eyes he has, you need to cut the number in half instead of adding one eye for every eye. I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was really funny. Let's go. It was worth the wait. Thanks for hosting the stream, Kath. It was a very fun way to spend my afternoon. Thank a lovely and insane stream. Thank you all. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you could join. This was so fun. Yeah, and maybe I'll stream again someday. I'm not gonna make any promises on timing because school and all that, but do have this set up now, which makes it easier. I could make a no-wide fits. You could. I mean, you could. I mean, I would like to see it. It's your legacy cap. Out of all the things, I think the things that are like most my legacy at this point are Sophitz, the wiki, and many-eyed fits, to name all three. Which, that's not a bad legacy to have. I'm not mad about it. Alright. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm gonna end now. Yeah, I think you're all following me on Tumblr, but you can follow me on Tumblr to keep up with me there. I'm around on the Discord, the Cupidlicities Discord, the big one from the wiki, quite a lot. So you can find me there. You can message me on Discord. Yeah, you can also subscribe on here, though it'll be a while before there's anything.